In the Gospels, two children are born. Both are called Jesus. Two mothers, two fathers, two beginnings. For one coming Christ. The Church remembers one of them, but the oldest texts, read closely, remember two, and the difference between them changes everything. Tonight we follow a thread the centuries tried to smooth over, and find, folded inside a contradiction, one of the quiet secrets of the Gospels. It begins where all trouble in a family begins, the family tree. Two of the evangelists set out to name the ancestors of Jesus. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham, which was the son of Nathan, which was the son of David. Both lists agree at the root, David. Both agree at the end, Joseph. But between David and Joseph, they share almost no names at all. Matthew descends through Solomon, David's royal son, the crowned king. Luke ascends through Nathan, another son of David, of a quieter, priestly line. Two sons of David, two houses, two streams, flowing down the centuries, toward the same hour. Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijah, Luke's line, Nathan, Mathatha, Menan, not the same men, not the same road. For centuries this was treated as an embarrassment, an error, a copyist's slip, a problem for scholars to explain away. But what if it is not an error at all? What if each list is exactly right, because each of them is naming a different child? What if there were two boys named Jesus, one born of Solomon's line, one of Nathan's, and the Gospels faithfully wrote down both? First, the child of the kingly line, Matthew's Jesus, son of Solomon's house, born to carry the crown of the mind. To this child came wise men out of the east, following a star, kneeling with their gold and frankincense and myrrh. There came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. And who were these magi, and whom did they seek? Priests of the stars, come to honor a soul they had followed before, the greatest teacher of the ancient world, returned. For in this kingly child lived an old and towering individuality, the wisdom of the ages, gathered across many lives into a single soul. He was born in a manner already old, grave, knowing, his eyes full of a learning that no childhood could explain. Call him the child of wisdom. All that the human race had thought and suffered and understood, it lived, awake, in him. Now the second child, Luke's Jesus, son of Nathan's line, and his nature was the very opposite of the first. Gideon said, "No kings came to this one. Shepherds came, the poor, the simple, the watchers in the field, for he belonged to the innocent of the earth. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." He carried no ancient wisdom, this child. He carried something rarer, a soul untouched by the long fall of the world, new, unspent, and pure. as though a part of the human being had been kept back from the very beginning, held out of the hardening, out of the struggle, and now, at last, was born. Call him the child of innocence, not learning, but love, not knowledge, but light. 2 children, then, one aged with wisdom, one radiant with innocence, the mind of the race and the heart of the race, walking the earth as 2 boys. And by a quiet arrangement of providence, their families came to dwell near one another in the town of Nazareth. 2 boys named Jesus, growing side by side, one who seemed to know everything, one who seemed to love everything, and neither of them yet complete. And so we come to the strangest scene in all the childhood of Jesus, a scene Luke sets down plainly, and that no one has ever quite explained. The boy is 12 years old. The family goes up to Jerusalem for the feast, and on the road home, the child is not among them. They found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. A boy of 12 seated among the gray scholars of the temple, and the scholars are astonished. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. But stop and remember whose child this is. Luke's child, the child of innocence, of love, who carried no learning at all. Where has the wisdom come from? In that 12th year, in that temple, something passed between them. The old towering soul of the kingly child, the wisdom of the ages, went out of the one and entered the other. The mind of the race poured itself into the heart of the race, and wisdom found, at last, a vessel pure enough to hold it whole. Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. They understood not, because the child who came home was not in the deepest sense the child who had set out. Something vast had come to dwell in him. And the other child, the kingly one, now emptied of his ancient guest, did not long remain. Quietly the Gospels lose sight of him, and soon after, he dies. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and man. Increased in wisdom and in stature, the 2 natures becoming one, innocence that had grown wise, wisdom that had been made pure. Now the question the whole mystery has been driving toward: why 2? Why could it not be done with one child, one soul, one single line? Because what was coming needed a vessel unlike any other. Not merely a good man, not merely a wise one. Something whole. Wisdom alone can grow cold. Knowledge without innocence hardens, in the end, into pride. This the kingly child alone could not escape. And innocence alone stays a child. Love without wisdom cannot teach, cannot carry the weight of a world. This the gentle child alone could not bear. But join them, the fullness of wisdom and the fullness of innocence, in one body, and you have made a vessel that can hold the light itself. The two streams of the human race, the knowing and the pure, the ancient and the young, had to become one before the Christ could descend. Every gift the race had gathered, and every gift it had never spent, both were needed. Nothing whole was ever made of halves. And so, across two children, two genealogies, two natures, a single vessel was prepared, silently, patiently, over 30 years. At last the prepared one comes down to the Jordan, to the baptism of John. He saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and lighting upon him. And in that moment the vessel is filled. The Christ, the light that made the world, descends into the one body, prepared to receive it. This is why there were two children. Not a contradiction to be explained away, a preparation to be beheld. And now the mystery turns and looks at you. For the two children are not only history, they are a picture of what you are. In you also there is a knower and an innocent, the mind that has learned, and the heart that still trusts. And in most of us, the two live apart. The mind grows clever and forgets how to love. The heart stays tender and never learns to see. Two children in one house who do not yet speak. And the whole work of the inner life is the work of that 12th year, to bring the wisdom and the innocence in you into one. For the light does not descend into cleverness, and it does not descend into mere sweetness. It descends where the two have been made one. You were never asked to choose between knowing and loving. You were meant to unite them, as they were united once, in a temple, in a child. This is the doorway. Before you can know the Christ, you must first meet the two who made his coming possible and find them waiting, both of them,